In this week's Tech Tuesday, we talk to the man who founded an online movie library. The service is for fans of independent, foreign and classic film, not Hollywood blockbusters. Efe Cakarel is the founder and chief executive officer of MUBI. Efe, great to have you on the program here with us.
Thank you.
Talk to me, I mean, it's a niche market, right? You're talking to the people that don't want to go and see the big movies that the Hollywood blockbuster producers want you to see. So how difficult is it to, find people that want to have a subscription with you in this kind of very difficult economic environment?
Yes, sure. First of all, we show movies to people who love movies. So, they tend to be people who also like blockbuster movies. I think all of us are going to go see Skyfall.
We probably are, yes.
Yeah. But turns out there's a lot of people who really like quality cinema, and that's what we focus on.
And so you're basically combining, quality cinema, but at the same time, of course, streaming. So through tech, as an entrepreneur and looking for funds, when you started the company, how difficult was it to find an angel investor? Because you're in this very particular niche market of technology, which actually people want to be associated with.
So this is typical entrepreneur who comes up with an idea and didn't know much about the industry when he was getting in. So I came up with the idea in a cafe in Tokyo. I wanted to watch a movie, and I couldn't believe that there was not a single platform that allowed me to do so back in 2007, which is not so long ago. I mean, film is a $150 billion industry. 52% of it is home video, almost entirely DVD and pay TV, which was obvious even back then that it was going to significantly shift to TCP/IP protocol, to watching movies on connected devices. So sounds like a great idea, but I've never been to a film festival in my life. I don't know a single person in the industry, and I wrote a business plan, and there I was. Right?
Okay, so
that was
you wrote a
challenging.
business plan. So first of all, okay, so you write a business plan. You say, right, this is, people like me want to watch this, and who do you give the business plan to?
So I was very lucky because I went to Stanford and I was in Palo Alto, and there's an incredible ecosystem. If you have the right idea, if you're at the right place at the right time, the ecosystem is right there for you to pitch your idea. Basically, my mentors, my professors at Stanford, they introduced me to some other people, and quite soon I got in front of a lot of people. But everybody was skeptical, because this is a business that is very difficult. Everybody who tried massively failed. I mean, Juiced raised $45 million from Sequoia and others, and they're out of business. Blinkbox, I mean, you name it.
So what's your biggest concern now? Is it the funding? So you have angel investors backing your company.
Yeah.
Are you going to have to tap some funds? Is it?
We need to.
How much?
We need to increasingly raise more capital because content is expensive. So over time, even though we focus on quality film, we need to get big studio films as well. Not the big blockbusters, but there's a lot of really great studio films. I mean, I want to show the Kubrick titles, right? So that means that I need to write a check to Warner Brothers. That means I need to focus on a particular country, have a very clear business plan. And so, yes, I am constantly raising more and more capital because it's a cash flow negative business.
And so where do you find these angel investors? Are here in the UK? We have a lot of entrepreneurs coming on this program, and they say, the difference between the US and the UK is that in the US, they're used to entrepreneurs. People start something, they fail, they go back. It's almost like a badge of honor. Yeah. Are you approaching people in the States or here in Europe?
Here, because we are growing much faster outside of the United States, and that's why I also moved from Palo Alto to London. It is more challenging here, definitely, but I think there's a lot of money that is chasing for good ideas and good quality people.
It's what, private equity people? Is it investors that...
Private equity is actually very interesting, but they would be coming at a later stage. There is more funding options available for growing startups today than existed even 10 years ago. Today, a private equity can come, invest a few $100 million, take all the early investors out, and take you to the next stage. So IPO is not necessarily the right and only way out for early investors. So the point is, I think wealthy individuals, family offices, and individuals who have done very interesting entrepreneurial things are the main, most interesting source of capital here versus US. Of course, I mean, there's a very vibrant VC community here as well. But again, it's more difficult, less capital being deployed, and there's equally good and equally amazing, equal number of amazing ideas in Europe as exists in US.
So Efe, you've had this company for 5 years. Was there a point where you said, oh, actually, this is working? I know we've been teasing the fact that Martin Scorsese you know, so I'm sure he's a big fan of all these more independent films.
It took us a long time to figure out the right business model. I mean, at some point, again, you realize that you need bigger films. Because just having obscure art house films and having a subscription-based model is not sustainable in the long run. Because people are just going to then subscribe to Netflix, even though Netflix may not have the...
I was going to ask you about Netflix. How do you compete with something that is so big?
So even though Netflix may not have the same films today, they will have it over time. So in the long run, people are not going to just subscribe to Netflix and MUBI as well. So they will go to Netflix. So we need to differentiate ourselves. So look at Netflix's unit economics, business model.
Yeah.
It's very tough to scale that business. You need 6,000 to 8,000 films. You're going to be spending, in a place like UK, $150, $200 million in minimum guarantees. Yeah. You do the math, you need 400, 500,000 subscribers to even break even on the content. And you don't get there easily. You need to spend also hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing. Us, we focused on a much smaller library of film. My model is every day I give you a new film that stays for 30 days. So I don't need 8,000 films, I need only 365 titles. And I'm getting only 30-day windows. I'm negotiating only 30-day windows, not the whole year. So instead of spending 200 million, I'm spending maybe 3 million
But
here.
it also means that maybe your subscribers are going to be always reduced in the amount that you can get.
Yes,
is there a plateau?
Turns out too much choice is not necessarily a good thing, right? And I mean, this is an insight that I got from, we are very lucky, we are joint venture partners with Sony Electronics. And I spent some time with the CEO of Sony PlayStation when we announced this collaboration in Cannes last year. And he said at dinner, Efe, you are too carried away with video on demand, everything, everywhere, anytime. You're forgetting one fundamental thing about human beings. They are lazy by definition, right? So, so that's why linear TV is so popular, right? You have access to all sorts of content anywhere and people go watch movies. So a curated brand that chooses the best films for you is a good value proposition.
Right. Lazy by definition. I quite like that. Efe, thank you so much. Efe Cakarel, the founder and Chief Executive Officer of MUBI.